So now we're going to look at number 6, and Alex wants us to write our answer without using a negative exponent again. And so remember, when you have an exponent and then you have parentheses, and then that's being multiplied by another exponent, you're going to multiply the two exponents. So instead of adding, like if we were multiplying x, we would have added, but here we're multiplying the exponents. So we're going to have x 6 times negative 3, and that's going to be x raised to the negative 18, and that is a negative, so we want to move that to the denominator. So we're going to have 1 over x to the positive 18. Okay, so now we're going to move on to number 7. We have p to the negative 5 divided by p to the negative 8. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in the right place. So I'm going to move p to the negative 8 to the numerator and p to the negative 5 to the denominator so that I can make these exponents positive. And then we did this at 8, 2. When you divide, you're going to subtract. So 8 is on top, so we're going to have p 8 minus 5, and that's going to give us p cubed, or p raised to the 3rd power. Okay, so then I'm going to move on to number 8. And we have negative 2w squared x negative 3, and all that's going to be raised to the 3rd power. So remember, when you have an exponent, it needs to go to each piece. So we have negative 2 cubed, and that's going to be negative 8. And then we have w squared, so that's going to be w2 times positive 3. And then x negative 3 times positive 3. So then we're going to have negative 8. W, 2 times 3 is 6. And then x negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. So we're almost done, except we need to move this x to the negative 9 into the denominator. So the negative 8 is fine because that's a value. It's not an exponent. So we're going to have negative 8 w raised to the 6th power divided by x raised to the positive 9th power. Okay, so now we're going to move on to number 9. And there's a lot of variables in this one, but that's okay. We're going to work through it. So we have 12x raised to the negative 2 power, y raised to the 8th power, z raised to the 9th power, divided by 3, y raised to the negative 5th power, z raised to the negative 6th power. So 12 divided by 3, I already know that that's 4. So I can already go ahead and take care of that. I'm going to go ahead and put a 4 up here. Now I'm going to go ahead and put everything with negative exponents in the opposite. So, for instance, x negative 2, I know that that can go on the bottom as x squared. Y to the 8th can stay up here. Z to the 9th power can stay up here. Y to the negative 5th needs to go up here into the numerator. And z, except that's going to be positive because I put it in the numerator. So that is y to the 5th. And then z to the negative 6 needs to go up here to be positive as well. So now we have our variables on the top and bottom, and they're going to stay that way because they're positive. So up here we have 4, and then we have y to the 8th power, and over here we have y to the 5th power, and those are being multiplied together, so we know we're going to add them. So 8 plus 5, and then with z we have 9 and 6, so we're going to add those, and that's all going to be over x squared. There's no other variable, or there's no other x variable, so we just leave x how it is. So then we have 4y, and 8 plus 5 is 13, z, 9 plus 6 is 15, and that's all going to be over x squared. we have 4 y raised to the 13th power, z raised to the 15th power, and that's all over x squared. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 10, and number 10 is very similar to number 1. So we have these in parentheses raised to the 0 power, and the first one, there's nothing outside of the parentheses, so we know that that one's just going to equal 1. And right here we have the same thing as we did in the second one of number 1. We need to leave this negative out here, and 8 raised to the 0 power is going to be 1, and a negative times 1 is negative 1. So we can put 1 there, and negative 1 here. Okay, so that's all for 8-3. I hope this helps you guys do well on it. And don't forget, you have 3 attempts for each question, and then you have 3 attempts at the whole thing. So if you mess up, if you get a 6 out of 10 and want a better grade, you can go back and do it again.